Hey everyone, this is Alex in Automotive and More, and today we're going to be talking about axle wrap. So axle wrap is going to affect basically most trucks with leaf springs if they don't have traction bars or either a very stiff suspension. Most trucks these days have high torque and they do suffer from some amount of axle wrap. Some brands, some models more than others. So as you guys can see here, I'm doing the typical mall crawler stance here in some random location, but it's a little bit quieter than other locations at the moment. So what is axle wrap? So your tires with the torque of the engine are trying to rotate this way. What happens is that the leaf spring on leaf sprung trucks are holding the axle in location. The torque of that's going through the axle wants to push the pinion, the front of the axle, down when you accelerate, and when you guys brake, that axle wants to go back up towards the bed of the vehicle. So that's axle wrap. It feels like a little bit of squish in the driveline when you accelerate hard. And also another thing that it causes that is super annoying, and this again depends on tires, depends on suspension, depends on vehicle, lift kits, do you have a block or not. But one of the common causes, or one of the common effects of axle wrap is wheel hop. So you'll have like the tire chatter, gripping and letting loose back and forth, and it creates this annoying wheel hop situation that I'm sure most of you guys, if you're already watching this video, have encountered that. So solutions. There's a couple different solutions and ways that you can approach this. So one of the solutions is stiffening up the rear lift springs. That can be done one of a couple ways. You can either put, a heavier duty leaf pack. Sometimes leaf packs that have more leaves but aren't particularly more heavy duty, like for example Deaver leaf packs, or it can be a solution. They're just harder for them to twist due to the extra amount of leaf packs that are in those systems. You can do an add a leaf, which is exactly what it sounds like. It adds an extra support leaf to the leaf spring, preventing the leaf springs to twist as easily. There's something called road active suspension. They make a pretty cool system. It's basically a spring that goes from basically the U-bolt spot of bolt location on the leaf spring all the way to the rear spring eye on the shackle. Those create an extra tension there, increase the spring rate, combined with a leaf spring, and also allegedly help quite a bit, with wheel hop and axle wrap, because they're preventing that leaf spring from twisting. And the best solution that's out there that specifically does nothing more than address wheel hop, axle wrap, whatever you want to call it, would be traction bars. So traction bars, usually they can either be bolted or welded, but they go from the frame. They either get bolted or welded to the frame, and they go back to the axle, and they either get welded or bolted back to the axle. They usually use some Heim joints. There's different designs of what is it called? Traction bars. Some of them have a little bit more play in them than others in order to create a little bit more, I would say, more of a gap between them getting engaged or not. So it's not full 100% engagement all the time. Some of them have like a little bit of a spacer, a bump stop. Some of them use a spring loaded design, and most of them are 100% solid mounted to both of those locations. Usually the traction bars do affect ride quality a little bit. I think just about every solution for axle wrap affects ride quality in one way or another. But usually they do affect ride quality. Obviously if you're stiffening up the suspension, the truck gets stiffer. If you're using a road active suspension, it's common for, as you increase the tension on that spring, it does raise your truck up and it does stiffen it up a little bit, and traction bars do create less play with the rear axle, so they do change the dynamic of how the truck feels quite a bit as well. Some people love how traction bars feel, some people don't. Obviously there's a lot of systems that do the best of both worlds, that have, you know, the spring-loaded tensions, they have a little bit of a gap with a bump stop before they engage, and so on. Installation wise, most of them are pretty straightforward. Obviously the weld-on stuff for traction bars is going to be the harder stuff to do, depending on your skill level and what you have access to. Then, you know, next level down in hardness, you're probably going to have the add leaves or the spring packs, or different spring packs, which is just unbolting them and bolting a new set, you know, in place. And then the easiest solution is definitely by far going to be the road active suspension system. It probably takes you 15 minutes per side to install that system. So that by far is the best option if you're looking for something easy that you can do in your driveway. Price wise, road active suspension is going to be on top again. They're by far the cheapest. They range anywhere from like $400 to $500 from what I've seen for most applications. That may vary by the time that you're looking for things, or there's a special or not. Traction bars for good sets, and I'll go over two of the best options for my truck specifically, but traction bars usually hang around the $1,000, you know, spot. Now if you want custom powder coating, custom this or that, chrome plated, stainless steel, this or that, you know, custom stuff is going to be a lot more expensive for obvious reasons. And yeah, and then spring packs can be pretty expensive too. If you guys are gonna go with like a Deaver, for example, for this truck, what would be a Deaver M27, or I forgot, what is it, Deaver, there's like an L81 or M81, that's a bigger lift leaf pack. I think those comes with like 11 leaves on each side. Those can be pretty pricey. They're over $1,000, and you're gonna pay probably, you know, $200 shipping just because leaf springs are so heavy. But yeah, those are some of the best options there. And then I'll just cover some of like the three best options for this truck specifically, being a 2021 GMC Sierra, and what I am considering. So for options, RAS system, easiest bolt-on, $500 give or take, and then you have that. Bad side is I kind of like the stance of the truck. If I put it at a high tension setting, from what I've been reading, people are saying that it could lift your truck up to 1.5 to 2 inches in the rear. I don't know if I want that much of a difference in ride height in the rear, but it's definitely something I'm considering just to the ride height, not the ride height, just to the price and ease of installation. Second option, you have BDS. BDS has a spring-loaded traction bar, awesome, cool design. Bolts up to the bottom of the U-bolts on the axle, and then you have to drill mounting locations basically on the frame wherever those traction bars land. Installation wise, not bad. Just you know, probably a few hours on the driveway, considering that you have a level driveway that you can do that from, and then you should be all set, and you can kind of adjust the tension on those. Bad part is they are about $1,100, depending on where you look at. I have seen them for as low as like $900 if you guys are hunting them down, but something to consider. Other option is Cognito. Cognito has a super good traction bar design, probably my favorite of the three. Mostly bolt-on, but they do have a bracket that you do have to weld on, and that is the thing that's probably holding me back the most, as for it to be my favorite option. But if that wasn't an issue, that I would have to find a shop, you know, to weld on that bracket for me, because I currently don't have a setup to do that at home. I would definitely consider the Cognito one being the best. Now there are cheaper traction bars out there. Rough Country is one of them that's going to come up. I don't know if I trust Rough Country's quality. I've seen some bad quality parts in my career. Seen a lot of people get Rough Country stuff and want to remove it just to upgrade or go back to stock, just due to quality issues with Rough Country. So Rough Country has left a bad taste in my mouth, but they do have solid traction bars for about 500 bucks that does fit this truck. Now, depending on what year, make, model, vehicle you have, you're probably going to have a lot more or less options for traction bars or other solutions to address wheel hop. F-150s, for example, they have probably the most options out there from what I've seen. I used to have an F-150 and they have a million companies addressing axle wrap and or wheel hop. GM side, not that many. I think those three options are probably the three best options for anyone that's looking for that. If you guys do see or have another solution, I would love for you guys to please comment down below and let me know. That way I can research it and consider it if that's something that will work for me. Now in this truck, this is a GMC 2021 AT4. It's leveled in the front. It's running on Icon Stage 2. So it's got, you know, 2.5 inch coils in the front, 2-inch coils in the back. Pretty good suspension shock wise. Rear leaf springs and rear block are the OEM. Those haven't been touched. It did have a TSB for the leaf spring clunk, and one of the leaf springs was replaced on this truck. But this truck has always suffered from wheel hop, and it's been annoying. Since I put the 35-inch tires, which has been probably 4 years now, that problem got a little bit worse. Since the transmission tune was installed, wheel hop is more of an issue because the truck seems to lock up and lock up the torque converter a bit sooner. So the transmission, you know, is definitely an upgrade. You know, with the tune, with the PPEI tune, feels much better driving all around. But wheel hop did get a little bit worse under those hard acceleration circumstances. So it's definitely something that, you know, as time goes on, I definitely want to address, because it's just like a quirk that the truck has. You know, you can't leave a nice little peel out without the truck looking stupid and the rear tires, you know, chattering around. But other than that, you know, suspension wise, the truck is good. I don't really need it to be any higher. I don't really tow a lot, and so I'm not getting the traction bars for that purpose specifically. But if you guys are towing heavy, you know, traction bars are definitely something that are going to save your U-joints. It's going to save a lot of stress off of the rear end. So I am really debating if I should go ahead, get one of the two expensive traction bar options for the truck, or should I start with the the road active suspension system as the cheapest option and see how much that addresses wheel hop, and you know, assess again after that. I don't think the road active suspension is going to take 100% of the wheel hop away like a traction bar setup will, but I do think it might be enough for me to not consider getting traction bars. The nice thing is that if I do decide to get traction bars after the road active suspension, I don't have to remove the road active suspension, because it's something that you can stack together and one won't interfere with the other. So you'll have a better suspension with the road active suspension added to it, and you'll have a traction bar setup, you know, that's not gonna let any rotation of that axle happen. So those two stacked obviously will be the best and most ideal situation, but it's a lot of money. So options are just road active suspension, just traction bars, or try road active suspension first and then get traction bars later if needed, which obviously will be by far the most expensive setup. But you know, not that that will take anything away from the truck, other than maybe change the ride height a little bit, which may not be a bad thing. May just give a little bit of a rake to the rear, which right now she sits completely level. You guys probably won't be able to notice now for the obvious reasons, but yeah, I would love to hear your guys' opinions. I know a lot of you guys probably have either traction bars, have a road active suspension. I would love to hear feedback before I follow any of these in, you know, just install them in the truck. So if you guys decide to watch and see what I do, please like and share this video. Subscribe. It really helps the algorithm, helps me get more content out there. If you guys have any opinions, any experience with any of the products mentioned, or even products that I haven't mentioned that does address this issue, I would love to hear about it below. Leave a comment, let me know the good, the bad, the ugly. I would love to cry once, buy once, and not have to redo stuff if I can avoid it. But yeah, follow me to see what happens next. Thank you guys, appreciate it.